Even if it was just
some tomatoes
a squash
or
or a tomato.
Yeah.
Really difficult. You'd think
Oh,
they wouldn't
okay.
be,
In this
but
country, it's quite hard to.
I have to say, back home in Trinidad, that was something that we grew really easily. Always tomatoes in the garden. They always. My mother always got my brother and I to grow tomatoes. That was like one of the things we grew.
Last year in my garden, the tomatoes that I planted deliberately and on purpose with the intention of getting tomatoes from them did absolutely nothing. Do you remember?
I do.
Whereas from all the little cracks and little random corners of the tomato plants that went on to do really well, and I had nothing to do with it.
So they were really defiant, basically.
Yeah, they just went, no, we're doing this on our time.
That's the other thing to understand about the garden is that you're never really in charge of it. You're in a dance with it. Do you know what I mean? You're a co-creator of it, but it will do what it wants in the end. So
I actually really like that idea because I think, it comes back to this idea that, you know, in this world that we live in, we control everything. We're human beings, so we're in charge of everything. And I love the fact that, like you say, I mean, I used to share an allotment with a friend, and we tried growing tomatoes, and a couple of years running, we just got blight, and they all died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even with the best intention, and, you know, just everything died.
Yeah.
And there you go.
That
Amber's
happens
tomatoes
fairly
just came to life.
Right.
Actually,
Well, their own
last year was a
tomatoes.
great example of that, actually, because we had a very early set of heat, which got everything growing, and then we had a really cold May and June, and a lot of things suffered, and most of the plants that weren't being grown under certain conditions just never quite reached ripeness. Lots of tomatoes never reached it, you know, all those sorts of
That
things.
makes you, well, it made me understand anyway the impact of climate change and what we're really doing, because that one heat wave a couple of years ago has totally impacted and almost ruined my ability to grow veg last year and possibly even this year. Who knows? Hopefully they'll have rallied this year. Who knows? But I mean, just 2 years and I saw the difference.
I think there's also something about that. I mean, I want to come back to talking about what we can grow, what we can eat, sort of plants. I don't know if you've got anything to chip in there. Faye, have you done any gardening?
Not very much, but I do like the idea of a garden. I feel like we live in a garden.
Yes.
And like the universe gives us what we need. Happy International Women's Day, universe.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's true, actually.
true, but-
Humanity could die out and the plants would still grow.
Yeah, that's true. People talk about saving the planet. The planet's all right. We're the ones that need saving.
Oh, yes. And again, coming back to the climate crisis or the climate catastrophe, I think that, again, being in a garden, seeing plants and the impact really brings it home. Certainly for me on the allotment, I kept thinking, hang on a minute, these things aren't supposed to happen.
Right,
Yeah, or things are coming out at the wrong time, and then, like you say, then there's a cold snap, and you know.
I think water as well will become an increasing issue, especially in London and the southeast. We're seeing lots of plants that are just failing, and you have to water them so much to keep them going. Whereas we're going to have to move towards drought-tolerant planting, I think, just to be able to maintain. The nature of the gardens in England are not going to be easy to maintain without irrigation or a lot of water.
But do you think that there's also something about the planet saying you've kind of like, you know, there's a false...
Outstage of
like a full... well, there's that. But there's like a falsity to everything. Everything's so artificial. So there's a lot of things that used to grow here naturally in this climate that people no longer grow. Instead, they started growing things that they imported that never were supposed to grow here. But like you say... lots of water, lots of resources, but now resources are becoming less and less available. Are we going to have to go back to eating turnips, basically?
Well, I mean, we're going to have to figure out ways, aren't we, that we can, not as a culture necessarily, just as individuals, address our own, like composting, finding ways of reusing rainwater, even if it's just on your balcony. Do you know, just rig a little city, you know. We've got to start sharing that knowledge, I think. So people who know how to you know, do these clever things. Janet's one of those people. Share the knowledge, man. Let us all know what to do.
Yeah, I think when gardening became gardening for a long time, the idea of an English cottage garden was when people would grow vegetables in amongst their ornamental flowers. So it was pretty, but it was productive.
And what were some of those vegetables that like just grew here that again that would you know?
Carrots, onions, cabbages.
So staples.
Yeah, exactly, the staples, beans.
potatoes.
Yeah, every time with the potatoes. In fact, I've got a little list here of what you can seed right now.
Oh, right, wonderful.
Yeah, parsnips, things like that. We've got. That's changed now, and the more formal gardens were very labour intensive. So it was a show of wealth to have a well-maintained, clipped garden. Lawns were famously, they're famously labour-intensive, and they're a monoculture. They don't really offer much to nature. But we are
I think there's a move, isn't there, to greening now and doing away with these manicured lawns and just letting wild grasses grow so we can...
Absolutely. In fact, the thing I wanted to make sure I said today was that dandelions, people always consider them weeds. I mean, firstly, you can make tea, you can eat them, right? But also, they're the very first source of nectar for bees.
Right.
So, although a dandelion seed head will fill your garden with dandelions pretty quick, you can leave it to the point it goes over and then deadhead it. Just leave the flowers on for the bees, please, before you get rid of them. So,
I mean, bees are essential, and I think we underestimate sometimes how important these bees are.
Yeah, and there are certain flowers that either aren't useful for nectar for bees, or are outside our native species, so they're not brilliant for the native bees. So yeah, more native species and more, which just means native to our soil, not international.
On that point, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? That there's a temptation sort of around February, March to clear everything and get rid of everything, cut everything back and make it all look nice and tidy. But there probably is certain species nesting in that that we need for...
All the old stems and everything host an absolute multitude of insect life, which is part of the sort of biosphere of your garden, really. And keeping a garden too neat is a nightmare for wildlife. So even if you like a very neat garden, keep a pile somewhere of your logs and your leaves and your thrown away things. Because you'll provide a habitat for things that
bug
are feeding the
hotels.
soil.
And we need them to come back and pollinate our vegetables.
Yeah, and also to keep down pests, because there's a whole food chain, which means that if you've got, those little pill bugs that everybody go up into a little ball, but they eat dead, rotting matter, and then they give it back to the soil in a way that the plants can use it. So you need to maintain
So
a
that's
healthy
again
balance.
us not interfering too much with the
Right,
ecosystem.
exactly. That's the word. Stop interfering.
And
Yes.
I like a neat garden. I can be a bit OCD with my garden, but it's really important not to do that. So even if you just leave a pile of leaves under the trees at the back, do you know what I mean? Just don't over-maintain. And one of the worst things actually for those insects and things that are in the soil is a leaf blower. The worst thing you can do is
Luckily,
have a
I've
huge
never
leaf
had one of
blower
those.
around your beds just to make them tidy, but you're blowing off all the top stuff, all the insects, and it makes it barren.
Okay, I'm going to hold you right there. I'm going to play a track now. The first track of the show, officially, because we've been playing the underscore, chosen by Amber. And then we're going to come back to you, talk a bit more. And I know you've got a track that we're going to play as well. So, Amber, what track is this? My Miss T. Stevens.
Oh, Tanya Stevens, yes, love and adore her. So this is a cover version of Helen Reddy's I Am Woman in honor of Women's Day.
Indeed. You can't get better than Tanya Stevens.
In numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend, 'cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Oh, yes, I am wise, but it is wisdom born of pain. Yes, I paid the price, but look how much I gained. If I have to, I can do anything. I am strong, I am invincible, I am woman. Well, the feet that fit so comfortably on your shoulders are the same ones that's gonna stand my ground, yeah. With all the muscle that you're building, you must be strong enough to lift the standard, make me wanna hang around, yeah. Come baby, tell me what this is beyond all hugs and kisses. Why you gotta turn my smile upside down, yeah. You used to say I was a blessing, now you say I'm being medicine. So I guess there ain't no point hanging around, yeah. Well, I don't wanna be no guy, just wanna be appreciated by the eye. Don't believe the package influence the contents. I mean a lack of common sense. Who am I say? I don't wanna be no guy, just wanna be respected by the eye. Don't let the style overshadow the credential. Me dress code not diminish me potential. Who am I say? Yo, check it.
Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Yes, that, of course, was the one and only Miss Tanya Stevens. I have to say, she is just like
She's
just
amazing.
phenomenal, isn't she?
Yeah, she's so gifted. And she's still making music now, so, you know.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. You
Yes,
gotta love her,
I-
gotta love her.
More
So I'm
to
gonna
come.
put on a little
Yes.
Tanya Stevens underscore as well, just to keep that vibe
Amen.
going. So yes, we're talking about, you got a list of some
I've got a
things
little
that we
list.
can grow, and these are things that can grow outdoors, but also in window boxes as well? Or,
Yeah, I've got a list of vegetables that we can start now,
right,
and they can go outside. And there are some more tender vegetables that you need to start inside.
righty-ho.
The thing about England is that we oftentimes have a very late frost. They can be May, almost June sometimes. And if I don't want people to sow their seeds and watch them grow, and then May comes and they come out one morning and they're all dead.
Yeah, that's
So,
kind of a horror show, isn't it?
It is. It can be very disappointing. So I'm going to run through this list of can direct sow right now. Okay, so you can do broad beans and peas. You can do your root vegetables, so carrots, parsnips, beetroots, turnips, which do take up a lot of space.
Does anyone
onions.
like a turnip?
Let's,
I was having a
It's
conversation
good
actually about the
It's
fact
good
that
in stews, I guess.
isn't it the sort of stuff you chew on and think it's a potato and spit it out? Anyway,
I
carry
think
on.
it's kind of the British equivalent to pasta back in the day. It was just an enormous root vegetable that would take a lot of space in
Yeah.
a soup. Do you know what I mean? And you could- yeah.
Can I
So
just clarify one point? So you said direct sowing.
What I meant was, you can put those directly into the space you wish them to continue growing
So
in.
straight into the ground.
Outside into the ground.
And they'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
They'll be cool.
They're
So they're the tough, hardy sort of, yeah.
They are. They don't mind a cold night, and you won't do them any damage. And the other ones in that group are leeks and radishes. Radishes are fab. They grow in about 6 weeks. So if you sow every fortnight, you can have radishes all through the summer. Do you know what I mean?
And they're good in salads and
Spring onion is another one that you can kind of keep growing throughout, no?
Yeah.
And they have about
I mean,
8
onion
weeks.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quick to
Yeah.
fruition as well.
but they grow much quicker than onions.
Much quicker,
Right,
yeah.
yes.
And you can just cut them down and they'll regrow
grow,
from the
yeah.
same stem. So, yeah.
in the same bulb, essentially.
If you're a
yes.
beginner gardener, I think they're quite good.
The leafy vegetables that you can do right now are lettuce, spinach, summer cabbages and summer cauliflowers. I'm not sure exactly what the varieties
Have
of
you ever
those will
grown
be,
a
but-
cauliflower?
No, but as you know, you're actually much more experienced with vegetables than I am. I'm really much more experienced
Well,
with
with
ornamentals.
flowers and plants,
Yes,
yeah.
from years of actually doing people's gardens. So, yeah.
I've never
Well, is
grown
there
a
something really
cauliflower. I'd like
difficult
to
about
try.
growing a cauliflower? Because that sounded like a very intense question there.
Well,
Amber.
I tried growing broccoli once, and I got enough broccoli, and I'm talking like 6 months of effort, right? And I got enough broccoli for 1.5 persons to eat once.
Well,
So-
hopefully your daughter was little at the time, so she was the half a person.
She was the half, yeah.
No, I think cauliflowers are relatively... The problem with brassicas, which cauliflowers fall into, which is like cabbages, lettuces, things like that, they really are attacked by pigeons, moths, lots of things.
Everything
So you have
eats
to be
them.
protective over them, yeah.
I know kale is something that you can.
Yes, but it's horrible.
Is it though? I love kale. OMG, I love
Nutritionally
kale.
Immense.
Yeah, that's true.
I love kale, and I like you can toast it, and
I tried it. I
You
gave
can't-
it.
you can't do it.
I gave it a proper
you did
try.
you did give it a go. Well, you know, each
Can't
to
do
their
it,
own.
innit?
So
So
maybe not kale then.
You'd have to protect them. So, yeah, things like carrots and whatnot are relatively
Netting,
safe in the
yeah.
ground, but netting is going to be essential because pigeons love a lettuce and
And
a kale.
squirrels are
Oh,
rascals, let's
do you know?
say.
I remember
Mice
we.
as well, you know, they're looking
I
for
remember
food
being on the
seeds of
allotment and
food.
finding things that had been clearly dug up with creatures with little paws and
Yeah.
eaten, like bits of
Rodents
corn.
are
And I thought,
fantastic,
oh, the rats and the whatever, the mice are enjoying
There's an
themselves.
old farmer's rule about seeds, which is 3, which is 1 to live, 1 to fail, and 1 for the mouse.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. I mean, the other thing is, of course, is slugs and snails, which are a problem in England.
Don't even.
Oh, I remember being on I was looking
nemesis.
after a friend's allotment once, and I went out to water I was there in the evening. It was down by Fulham. Before you go over the bridge, there's a really big allotment there, and I was helping her mother look after it. She was away. And I literally could hear the snails or the slugs munching. I could hear them actually munching on the stuff.
Well, snails, it's a perennial question. Firstly, snail pellets, please don't use them, because birds eat snails and then the birds die. They were banned for a short period of time, and then this government unbanned them, so not entirely.
You know,
I had no
That's
idea.
an odd move to make.
Yeah.
I was on a farm, and like we dug like rows, like a miniature ditch
Trench,
in the garden. Yeah, to stop the slugs getting into different crops.
I think with small plants, there's a lot of reuse, recycle in the garden. It's the best place for it. But, kind of pop, I don't want to use brand name, but, like a 2 litre clear plastic bottle of drink, if you cut that in half, you can use the top over a small seedling. And that will act like a little cloche, they call it. So it's protective from
Little incubator,
of course, the slugs and snails won't get, and they like very tender young growth. So once things get bigger, they're not really at risk of slugs in the same way.
Right.
The other thing that I've found works is that some people put a dedicated pile of things for their snails to eat. And then they will learn where that is and go and feast on that overnight, and they will not forage further. And the other thing about throwing a snail over the garden is that they will come back. They're territorial. They did a little test and put different coloured nail varnishes on the backs of snails and then moved them like a kilometre away. And within a week, they were back in the same garden.
What do you think is their navigation system? How do
I
they
have
know?
no idea.
I mean, how
That's
simple a creature
interesting.
are they? But it's a strong thing. So it's no good throwing them over the wall because they really are just going to come back. So you have to either find an alternative or protect your crops from them.
My daughter and I actually, let's retroactively call it an experiment. We we painted the backs of snails just for fun. We just caught them, and painted them all patterns and whatnot, and released them. We never saw them again. So,
there you go.
according to my findings, that's not the case.
They obviously felt very violated by you guys and just thought, nah, man, I'm not going back to them
That's it.
women.
I'm out of
Of
here.
course, the other thing that's what I say about the ecosystem is that slugs and snails are fantastic bird food. So if you've got a healthy bird population in your locale, that will help keep your population of pests down.
And the birds are really clever. I remember I'd be digging up and like organising stuff, like as it'd be bits of sort of weeds or whatever to get ready to plant. And as I was there, a bird would sit there waiting for me to unearth a worm, so it could just swoop down and grab it. They're really clever.
Robins are famous for it.
Yes,
They're a gardener's
yes,
friend.
yes.
I've had a garden bring a robin down. I've had a robin bring their 2 chicks down to me when I was weeding in a garden, and literally just sitting back and letting the chicks learn that the gardener is the thing to follow because they'll unearth that many bugs. It was an amazing afternoon.
But that's symbiosis. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a
and they
great
too
thing.
are territorial robins.
So
it's their garden, really. You're just in it.
So Janet, I've got a question. So if you only had, let's say you don't have a garden. Let's say you live in Ladbroke Grove and you live on the 3rd floor and you've got
With
a
a window
balcony.
box.
Yeah. Let's say you got a balcony or a window. That
You're
you
lucky if
can,
you have a
know,
balcony, boy.
right? But like, some small outside
Yeah.
space. What would you be doing right now to greenify and beautify?
I think I would be sowing herbs because those are expensive and you get a small amount for a large amount of money.
That's true.
So actually herbs is one of the better things to grow because if you want coriander in every meal you make, you need to grow it. It's easy to grow. Onions you can buy for £1 on the street. I don't mind people planting their onions, growing their onions if you want to.
No, but you're not doing that for value.
Metre
are
for
you?
metre. Yeah, metre for metre. I think herbs is a really good choice. So yeah, you can plant all sorts of herb seeds right now: spring onions, garlic.
And the things like thyme, just go back to her, the things like thyme, they work quite well, don't they, with narrow but deep pots. So if you don't have a lot of space, you could get, and it will survive. It just won't get very large, but it will survive quite well, won't it?
Yeah, and also
In a pot.
a lot of herbs are Mediterranean plants, so they do well with not too much water and not too much space. They enjoy the hot weather and the sunshine. They're not looking for.
So they're not intensive in terms of looking after.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And
As long
I've
as you stop them from drying out, it's very straightforward.
I found that if you're working on a budget, which a lot of us are, if you go to Sainsbury's and you get those, you get the live herbs, the little pots of herbs, you can transplant those into a pot or into a garden, or even just any patch of ground. It doesn't have to belong to you.
Bit of guerrilla gardening, absolutely.
Yeah, no, but for real, like, if it's just sitting there doing nothing, you might as well have some bushes on it, right? That are useful for people. So
That's a great idea. That's guerrilla
Yeah.
gardening, isn't it?
right.
That's true, although a little word of warning is that they're transported in chiller trucks, so quite often they're stunted a little bit. So you
That's
have to be
true.
just give them a couple of like a week of looking after them before you plant them.
Yeah, that's
outside.
true.
Right,
that's
so give them a
true.
bit of TLC before you
And
get
al-
them in the
and
ground.
They've
also-
been stuck in a dark refrigerated truck for 3 days
Yeah.
before they've turned up at the shop.
They
So
need an adjustment
a
period.
little adjustment
yeah.
period, yes.
They
absolutely.
also sometimes have little bits of cloth, gardening cloth, wrapped around the roots. So
That's
it's an
very
idea
true.
to
Stunt
check
their roots,
the
so you're
roots,
taking
yeah.
out that, yeah.
Yeah, or they're grown in those little plugs that have a little kind of net around
Yeah,
them,
that's-
and that will stop
That's
Yes,
what I
yes,
meant.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Okay,
And
so you're back to your list. What else is on that list?
Right, well, the other list.
Oh yeah, you've got two lists, of course.
the-
Not one, but two.
The ones that you shouldn't really plant out yet because you're in danger of losing them before the spring fully finishes is tomatoes, cucumbers, sweet peppers, which are the bigger red, green, orange peppers rather than chili peppers or anything
Yeah.
like that, and cucumbers and aubergines and celery. So
Aubergines are really difficult to grow, aren't they?
I've never successfully grown
No,
an
I've
aubergine.
never. Who has ever grown an aubergine?
I've never. I don't like. 'em
Honestly, I think
personally,
the only
but I've
people I've ever
never
known to grow an aubergine really well are Indian women who've been growing them for bloody
Forever.
ages. So they know the plant well enough. And that's the other thing. If you grow for the first time, don't be disheartened if things don't work,
Yeah.
because you can be gardening for 50 years and still
Before you get
something-
your first aubergine.
you will learn something
No, it's
that makes it better for next year.
Were you going to say something about aubergines?
Yeah,
Go on.
they're nice. I did see some aubergines on the farm,
Mm.
and we went there for harvest, and all the veg looks quite different to it when it's in the supermarket.
That's because it's real
Yeah,
stuff.
It's yeah.
And the tomatoes are much nicer when they're actually grown rather than bought.
Right,
I don't know
so
why.
much nicer. My
I think a lot of
goodness.
vegetables, foods grown for sale are forced, which means they put in an artificially warm environment to bring them into fruit early. But the natural ripening of the sun on a tomato, for example, there's nothing
Yeah, the
better
taste of
than
food
the
that you've
taste of
grown
that
is
rather than
phenomenal.
a refrigerated, supermarket.
I mean, even
tomato.
my younger daughter's hamster used to love the kale and the broccoli and the stuff we grew in the allotment. I used to pick bits and feed a little hamster.
If tomatoes and strawberries make it home at all from my place, they're lucky. I'm just
Well, in
spending my
fact-
whole time in the allotment going, oh,
Just
sweet pea,
eating
lovely."
them, yeah.
But I miss the blackberries. When I first came to England in the late 70s, I lived in Osterley. So in those days, it was still loads of bush and
brown
loads of
blackberry,
of
yeah.
ground. You know, it was before.
Scrubs is great for blackberries, actually, still.
Yeah, we used to eat them you know.
Like little scrubs or big scrubs?
Big scrub.
Big scrubs. Okay, that's good.
There
to
you
know.
go.
Do you think the cars driving past there affect the quality
to
of the
give them-
berries?
You have to give them a good wash, I think. Do you think
Yeah,
it
I
changes
think-
how it grows?
I mean, the
think
carbon monoxide, is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the things. That's true, but I would recommend you washing anything, really. I know it's. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't always, and it's very tempting. The other thing I'd recommend is avoiding the dog line.
Oh, God,
Ooh.
yeah.
Right. So you
yeah,
only
yeah,
want to you only want to
Yeah.
pick from
I
about a
don't do
metre
dogs.
up,
Yeah.
because you've got a lot of things on the ground that are just using that as their scenting marks. So yeah, pick high and wash them.
Very
even if
good
it means taking out a
advice.
bottle of water. Do you know what I mean? And just give them a rinse off.
Very
Yeah.
good advice indeed.
Yes, the dog line. Yeah, we don't grow. It's like the allotment, isn't it? Don't grow around the edges,
Yeah,
because
oof.
people walk in their dogs, they just automatically
I know,
hit the
it's
fence and
Yeah, kind of
scent,
so gross. Yeah.
So be mindful when you're picking food outside. I think it's always wise to give it a wash, because you don't know what's happened
So,
in the area. But
yeah. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about how. So we've said a few times, you start them off inside, but like if you don't have a world of money and you don't want to go down a garden centre and spend your fortune, like how would you start them indoors? Like what's the process?
okay, so you need a small pot, and you can collect your yogurt pots, your egg boxes, fill those with a little bit of soil. There is a seed compost has to have, seeds don't need a lot of nutrition. They really just need, you can grow them in sand, do you know what I mean? They don't need nutrition when they just come. Everything they've got for their first couple of leaves is within them. And then you have to move them to somewhere that's better off. But if you fill you can go anywhere and buy a little, it doesn't have to be seed compost, it doesn't have to be any kind of fancy compost. You can even go outside and dig it from your ground. Just make sure it's fine enough. You don't want big chunks of earth that a small seed
can't get
break
through.
And that's it really. We want some holes in the bottom so that it drains, because roots need oxygen as well as moisture, unless they're pond plants. So you need to poke a few holes in the yogurt pot, put some soil in, read the packet, and it will tell you the depth at which you need to put the soil, either that you put the seed, so you can put it on top,
So
or you need to
read
put it
the
in
instructions.
a centimetre or whatever. Yeah,
I
the
just
seed
think
packet
it's like a
always
bit of
have-
your finger,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a segment of your finger. Bush.
Yeah.
exactly. Or a little dibber, which is
A
tool,
dibber.
a pointy tool, yeah, or a pencil or anything, you know,
Yes.
that can take you down. There's only the odd thing that needs a very deep root. Sweet peas, I know, and peas are quite famously deep-rooted, so you might find those hard to grow in a pot. They need a lot of depth for their roots because they go down a long way. But that's it, pretty much. So you can sprinkle those, and once they come up, you can either leave them where they are, and if you've overseeded, I know that Amber has an issue. When she grows like 50 seeds, and she needs to clear them out so that 30 do well, she has to have a little mourning period for the 20 seedlings that she needs to take.
It's not easy. I mean, with your help, though, over the years, I've gotten a lot better.
Are you overcoming your trauma there, Amber?
Well, they're all my babies. I don't want to kill any of them, you know.
Oh.
But it's got to
circle
be
of life.
done.
Give them back to the earth, and they'll come, you know.
But do you remember years ago when I first started gardening, and Janet would be like, "Yeah, you just got to clear some of that dead grass," and I'd be there taking like an inch at a time. Now, however many years later, I just get
just
in there
ripping
with
everything
both
out.
arms. Can't stop now. But it's there's a certain savagery about gardening.
There is. Can I play your track now, Janet?
Really can, yeah.
And it is.
It's Get Up by Beverly Knight, the magnificent singer.
She is fantastic. Why do you like this track?
Because it's power. There's a lot of tune we were talking about this, trying to find a tune that isn't about how I live my life with my man.
No.
Actually, quite difficult to
Really
find.
difficult, yeah.
Oh, MG, the Supremes, Diana Ross, everything is about,
It's
baby
all-
love, and
yeah.
I love you and you left me and I still love you. I know it's really hard.
Here we get it.
But also, it's just one of my all-time favourite tracks. If I need a bit of motivation, I'll put this on and I'll leave
Excellent.
my house.
I
in
agree
my
100%. Ms. Beverly Knight.
Hear me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hear what? Hear what? Hear what? Watch the way that people change. Flip the script and rearrange. Hoping they can just belong, even when it's wrong. Searching for identity. What's the next philosophy? What's the next big thing in town that they can surround? Yeah. Don't feel no shame. Let them know you're not the same. Don't feel no way. You stand tall while people sway. True to yourself. Leave them fakers on the shelf. Heed your calling. Go and do your thing. Hear me. Get up and hold your ground. Yeah. You don't care what goes around. Stand up and hold your ground. Hold your ground. Them no bigger than us. No bigger than we. No bigger than you. No bigger than me. Them no bigger than us. No bigger than we. No bigger than you. No bigger than me. Watch the way that people go to the cat that runs the show. Next thing they are rolling flick down with that click. Soon enough they act the same, walk the same and talk the same until they so-called inspired state the look is tired. Don't feel no shame. Let them know you're not the same. Don't feel no way. Now you stand tall while people sway. True to yourself. Leave them fakers on the shelf. Heed your calling. Go and do your thing. I'll make how you say. Get up and hold your ground. Hey, you don't
Yes, that of course was the fantastic Beverly Knight. And we're all in the mood now. It's International Women's Day and International Women's Month. We've also got Alexander, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I've had you on here, who's coming on next. But we're going to go back to you, Janet. And, of course, Amber, our co-host. We're talking gardening, people. We're talking about the garden. It's spring. It's the time of everything starting to bloom and blossom, hopefully, with not too much impact from the climate catastrophe that we're facing. But we can grow things. Some of us can.
We've talked, well, yeah, there's the green-fingered.
Yeah, is that a myth?
Yeah.
Or are there people that cannot grow things?
I don't know, I think, personally, I think it's about not wanting to exert your control over the garden or whatever you're growing, and more just act in association with it. Do you know what I mean? Be collaborative with the plant.
With
you're not trying to
nature,
force it
yeah.
into things. You're just trying to ask it. You want to grow? Am I giving you what you need? Do you need
Talk
more
to your
water? Do you
plants.
need less water? I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I talk to them all the time.
Yeah, I do. I've got plants at home. I talk to mine.
It's all
It's
energy.
proven. It's
I have better
scientifically
conversation than the
proven.
plants with my daughter, to be honest, a lot of the time.
It is.
Tell me
I think it's just energy. I mean, it's all just energy.
Yeah.
You know, and you're putting your positive energy into something, and it's going to feel the warmth of that, if you like.
And how long do you mind have you been a gardener? Like an avid gardener?
My parents were king gardeners, and I wasn't interested.
Yeah, we aren't when we're really young, though, generally
And I actually
speaking.
worked in publishing for a long time, and then I had a period of illness, and I volunteer gardened as a rehabilitation thing, and I just thought I never want to work in an office again. So I studied, and I got casual work as a puller of wheelbarrows and a lifter of buckets, you know, and gradually grew my knowledge. So yeah, and it's the other thing I love about the garden is that it doesn't move on. There's no gardening point 2 or point 3 or the knowledge you have to ditch to get onto the next thing. If you know how to prune an apple tree, you always know how to prune an apple tree. So your knowledge is only ever added to over the years. It's cumulative. And a lot of tech work, for example, it grows you and you have to learn a whole set of new stuff. So it's ancient knowledge, and it just gets bigger. And there's not a gardener I know, however expert, that doesn't learn something every year they garden. Nobody knows everything.
I mean, there's nothing that I've done that's made me feel as clever as growing things. Ancient is the word. It's like this is the core of who we are as a species. But I think what you said is interesting, because the green-fingered thing, I don't think it's about whether you have an innate ability. I think it's about what energy you are in at that moment in your life. So, you know, when I was young, my granny was a gardener, my dad was a gardener, but I thought I couldn't imagine anything more boring.
I was the same. I mean, my mother,
why
like I
would you do
said,
that?
made us grow tomatoes, but I was just like, you know, okay, I have to, because she's told me to grow
Right.
tomatoes, and that was it.
But then I think you reach a point where you are able to relinquish control and work collaborative. That word.
Co-collaborate.
That word,
That
yeah.
one.
that one.
That was the word. That word that I can't pronounce was the word right there. Yeah. If you can work in service of, if you can work and ask it and give it what it needs,
Yeah.
rather than demand from it, then I think you'll have a good time. You know.
Yeah. And I think right plant, right place is the other thing. Lots of gardeners decide they want a plant, and then they pay no mind as to what conditions that plant enjoys. And so they will plant lavenders again and again in wet fields, and they fail. And they're like, I can't grow things. Just learn a little bit. Watch your neighbours, walk around the area, see what's in flower, see what's doing well, take a photo, have a little Google image search, because then you know those things grow in your area, and enjoy the weather we have.
The other thing, right, as a renegade gardener, as someone who makes it up as she goes along, I have discovered that if you like cucumbers, say, you might plant them for the cucumbers, and you might not get the cucumbers, but the plant is pretty.
It's
So just enjoy the beauty of the plants
Yeah,
as well.
so I plant a thing that's going to work whether it fails or not. But I'm still
That's a
gonna-
good one.
I mean, the
You
other
know?
thing is
So I was going to actually ask whether there was, like, you know, sort of as we're coming to the end of the conversation with you, if you was something that you could really take away, and I really love that. What about for you? Is there something that you really think that anyone listening the one thing they should take away from getting involved in gardening, you know, whether it's they've done it a bit, not really loved it, but they're kind of wanting to get into it now, or even if they want it, like you said, as almost like a therapeutic
Yep.
aspect of their life?
Do grow the things you enjoy. We haven't really talked about the flowering aspect of gardens.
Oh.
But of course, that itself is of enormous therapeutic value. The scents around you, there's aromatherapy.
Yeah.
The beauty of being able to grow for your own vase on the table, and just being able to look out. Your eyes are feasted on the colours and the scents. So if you don't.
Growing knowledge in Portobello Radio,
Yeah.
planting the seeds of knowledge in Portobello Radio for gardening.
What we need, yes.
And actually, it's a
Fantastic.
perfect time of year, and and I couldn't think of a better time than International Women's Day to actually talk about growth and health and well-being and just
Thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And I hope you'll come back and tell us a
gladly.
bit more in the future. It doesn't have to be International Women's Day or International Women's Month to have you on.
Gardener's Day is every day.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you.
I'm going to play a track now that you chose, Miss Faye, and this is Angel by Hallie. Is that the same fish woman?
Oh my god, yeah. I went and watched Little Mermaid, and the cinema was empty. I love going to cinema by myself. And there was this lady sitting behind me with her kids. And you know the end of the film where because the dad's like, oh no, you can't marry a human and stuff. But when she's getting married, all the mermaids turn up, and I was literally so emotional. I was like, oh my god. And this woman's looking at me like, you're right. But yeah, I love Hallie. She's really cool.
Let's hear this track.
Do you ever make it out of your head? Do you still swim in your thoughts? Do you still mistake your flaws for property? Something that just don't sit right with you. But heaven knows, your wings can weigh you down. Angels make a way somehow. And if we fall on. Black girl hair, black girl with the black girl hair. Took a little sun kiss just to look like this. God said you're angel, 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 angel. How's your halo? I'm a big deal. I get sick and tired of holding it in. Rich blood, you can probably see the gold in my skin. I'm more than a girl, won't let the troubles of the world come weigh me down. But angels make a way somehow. But if we fall, we fall. Black girl with the black girl hair. Took a little sun kiss just to look like this. God said you're angel, angel.
She's got a really fantastic voice. I just remember her from that Grownish, when, you know, the Blackish spin-off with Grownish with Zoe.
When she goes to college.
Yeah, and the twins are in that. That's how I first remember her. What a fantastic voice. Thank you for that, Faye. I'm going to keep that one on my playlist. So, yes, we have our second guest of International Women's Day in the International Women's Month show. Do you want to introduce yourself? Because I got your name wrong first time round. I can't believe it because you've been here so many times before.
No, it's okay. My name is Alessana, and I'm, local singer, songwriter, artist. That's me in a nutshell.
Wonderful. So what's happening? Have you met Si?
No, we've not met.
Yes,
no.
this
Hi, I'm Amber.
Nice to meet you.
our co-host today. We dispense with the men today, and of course you know Faye.
You got kicked out, yeah. I know.
Yeah, we had to dash out the man then.
So I was just saying, actually, funny with the gardening, because the gardening runs onto the theme of had like my debut EP came out yesterday, so did like a big show at the Troubadour, which is near like Earl's Court, but it's like a really old music venue.
I love it.
Do you know I was conceived in the Troubadour?
No way.
OMG, that's a story.
Yeah, that's legend has it. Yeah. Yeah. But I want to hear about your EP.
So yeah, you know it.
Why we love Amber. Amber has always got a story.
I also love that you know that.
I know,
To
it's
be fair, that's a
weird,
pretty cool place
It
to
is,
like
yeah,
be made.
It's quite a cool place to launch your EP too, though.
It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
It's got a lot of history.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history. Like I think loads of people have performed there. Like I think Jimi Hendrix has played there. They've actually got like a little. It's like a church little prayer bit, and it's dedicated to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
It's got like, you know, where you kneel down to pray, and it's got the little.
Yeah, my
stand.
daughters went to
seen that.
Bowsfield, which is that was their primary
yeah,
school.
yeah.
So after school, the Bowsfield mummies often went there for chips
Ah.
for the kids. You know, just feed them chips. Not really very healthy, but you know what it's like when you've got
Yeah.
young ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to love the old the Troubadour actually. In fact, it was run by Bowsfield parents at one point, and
Was
I think
it?
that's one of the reasons why a couple of kids from Bowsfield went. Their parents ran it. Yeah.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Paul Simon's played there as well, and Bob Dylan. And
Yeah,
a
Bob
few,
Yes,
yeah,
Bob Dylan, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I
Quite
think.
a few big people.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell as well. Amy Winehouse.
Oh, you're in good company then.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran, Adele, but I prefer like the older, you know, like Bob
Yeah.
Dylan and Jimi Hendrix. I think that's quite cool. Guns N' Roses played there as well,
Oh.
which
Learn
is
something new every day.
yeah, which is fun. But yeah, it was good. It was my little brother's band. They supported us, so they warmed up. They opened their band.
What's the name of your little brother's band?
They're called Parlay. I call him little. He's my little brother, but he's like a lot bigger than me
Much
now.
bigger little
Yeah,
brother I've got.
But so they opened up. They did like an acoustic 3-piece set because they were missing their drummer. But it was like really nice and soulful and yeah. And then we went on and we did an hour set and every
So what
song.
kind of music do you do?
I call it like indie soul. So it's a lot of like stories, like about my experiences, but like it's just little stories. And then also I take a lot of inspiration from my environment and people. And then there was one song that is called Flowers of Sudan, and that I wrote. I worked with the council. I got a bit of grant money to write songs about the lives of elderly residents.
Okay.
And that was
excellent.
like one song where it was a lady who lives here, but she'd fled from Sudan like years ago, and it was just her memories of her beautiful garden.
Okay.
And
So the
Speaking
gardening's
of
coming
which,
through
the
again.
gardening's
yeah.
coming through again. Money plant, flowers,
Flowers,
Sudan. Yeah. So so it was just different little. About 8 songs that we did, and I just explained the little story of each one
Okay.
beforehand. And it was really good. It felt good, but it's like a weird feeling when you're up there, and it's like, oh, It's going too quickly. I want it to. It's fun. It was
Slow
fun.
down and take in the moment.
Yeah. And we've got a band, and they.
So you said it was an EP, but you
Yeah.
did like 8 songs. So which songs are on the EP? And I'm just thinking, I
Yeah.
didn't realize we don't have the EP. Do
Oh.
we have got any tracks?
They're on Spotify. I can. Yeah. The name of the EP is called Chapter 1 Money Plant. So it came out yesterday, so it's now live on Spotify. And
Is it on any other platforms?
all of the streaming, like Apple Music, like all of the main streaming platforms. The full songs, we did the full EP songs, and then we interspersed it with like some of the other newer songs. So we got on the EP, there's Money Plant, which is about the money plant that kept dying. And I was so skint at the time, and I was like, no, why are you dying even more? This is like a bad omen or something.
I think
Listen,
so.
it's
It was
happened
a
to me
mistake
too.
to call it money plant. I think anyone who's ever had one feels
Yeah,
doomed to
and es-
poverty as
And
soon as
especially
the leaf
poor
falls
people,
off.
people who don't have money. You know, those probably rich people, they don't care. Oh, it doesn't matter. I've got so much in the bank. But when you're like us, you're like, oh, I really want the money.
Yeah, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. I wrote a song about it. That's how much it meant. And then there's another song called London's Burning, which is I wrote when I was walking literally down this road here, and I was just annoyed one night because there was nowhere to go out, and I was just like writing my little thoughts and observations. It's kind of like about gentrification of the area.
It's true, isn't it? There's nowhere to go and
Yeah,
have a
it
baby
was
around
just
here anymore.
yeah. So that's called London's Burning, and I make reference to like places, and that's sort of like I call it like the riot song. And we did that song last night, and it got everyone up like jumping.
So it was a bit of a get up song. Yeah,
it's a
yes,
get up
yes.
song, definitely. And then there's 2 others. One's called Alibi, and that is about cheating men. It's the first cringingly. That's the first song I ever wrote like years ago. But it's how as a band we found our sound. It's like quite dark but experimental, because like everyone in the band is like bass players like more reggae background. The guitarist is like more punky, like rocky. The drummer, he's kind of everything. So it's a fusion. And then the last one is called Magic Man, which is about disappearing men, telling them just to stay away.
Oh, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So what's the next move for you now? do you
But
think?
actually, you know what? Before we do that, can we play Money Plant?
Of course you can.
Because I found it.
Yay.
Yes. Let's
Money
go.
Plant.
You ready?
I'm going to take a little video. Money Plant.
My money plant keeps dying, leaves keep breaking off each day. Every time I touch it, another penny fades away. And I'm sick of kidney beans for dinner with still crusty bread. Sick of panic, runs to nieces, cause electric's dead. I need money, some money, some money, some money. 'Cause I'm tired of being broke, this ain't no joke. Please just grow. Cause I'm sick of dodging wedding invites, I'm sick of cheap red wine. Sick of well, if you insist to get the bill this time. And I'm sick of super gluing my shoes with Gorilla Glue. I'm sick of walking around West London, I can't afford their tube. I need money, some money, some money, some money. Cause I'm tired of being broke, this ain't no joke. Please just grow. I need money, some money, some money, some money. Cause I'm tired of being broke, this ain't no joke. Please just grow. Please just grow. Please just grow. Please just grow. Please just grow.
I'm gonna help you grow. If I tell you that I love you and I water you each day, maybe, oh just maybe, your penny leaves will grow and stay.
Oh, yes. So that, of course, was Money Plant by
That was
Alessandra.
excellent.
That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
really nice.
Really, really good voice. I have heard your voice before, and it is really good. So, yes, you were asking a question.
Well, actually, before we go back to, I wanted to ask you. So, have you been doing this? You've been doing this for a while, yeah.
Like, I've been singing for a while, but I've only properly like taken it a bit more seriously since lockdown, I guess, because that was when I was always like proper stage fright. So being in lockdown allowed me like the privacy to start experimenting and making DIY music videos and just having fun with it, really. And then I was like, oh, I like this, and it allows me to be like creative in lots of different ways. So since then, I'd say,
So, that's when I got into gardening. So
is
that's,
it?
I think, actually a lot of things grew.
Yeah, true.
Pun fully intended from lockdown, from everyone having the space.
Yeah.
I think, it's the space, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
actually the space and the time.
It was.
We suddenly didn't have to do things every second, every minute, which sometimes,
And we didn't have to justify our existence, so we had time to actually find out who we were, like as people. Yeah.
You had a question, Faye, before.
Yeah, talking about gardening and stuff, how's it been nurturing your creativity? What's your process like?
Oh, that's a good question.
Did you write all your own songs?
Yeah, I write all my own songs. Yeah, 100%. That's like, I'll always have to, with the songs, it will be like, there'll just be like a moment where concepts, a lot of like the songs I write is like more conceptual. So it will just be a moment where I like think of something. And like when I did Ragdoll, that was when I was walking back from Sainsbury's, and I was like annoyed because I couldn't afford the eggs and bread, and I had safety. I was wearing a safety pin, and I was like, I feel like a ragdoll. And I came home and I just wrote being like a ragdoll. So it's normally like whatever's going on. Like it's more like I need to get it out. Like it's like otherwise I'll probably go mad. But
Well, it sounds very good. So,
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's nice having like a band. So we rehearse every Thursday evening, and
When's your next show and when?
I don't know yet. I kind of, when you've been building everything up for this one yesterday, but I'm thinking I want to do something like locally. I'm thinking like Acklam. It would be cool to do like a big show, Acklam.
Well, also, In on the Green is reopening.
Oh,
is
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. I think end of
Fantastic.
April, beginning of May. So you ought to contact. His name it begins with a D. Young brother, and he works at Westway Trust. I'll remember his name. Tall.
I think
He's Nigerian heritage. I think he's got a Nigerian name.
I think
but
I know.
yeah, it's worth. Westway Trust, if you're listening.
Yeah.
You've got a
Westway
perfect
Trust.
gig person
Yes.
to gig. Yes.
I want
Also-
local gigs, please.
local gigs,
you know
local
what,
gigs for local people and not local people.
The Goulburn Festival
Oh,
would be a nice
yeah.
place for you to perform.
That's true.
And a lot of people come down to that, and we need to nice it up and big up the area. And I'm not sure.
We
is
need to
it?
hear what you're saying there, Faye.
I
We
thought,
need to hear your lovely voice.
I was just rambling.
no, you did, yeah. It's a good question. Who organises the Goulburn Festival?
It used to be
Is
Tina.
It the Westway Trust?
No, it used to
Did
be
it?
Tina. Tina used to organise it with the Goulburn Forum.
Yeah.
But then
There
obviously
you go, the
Tina's like
Goulburn
80
Forum.
something now, and big shout out to Tina. We love her.
Yeah,
She's just had
yeah.
a knee replacement, so I don't think she's doing the Goulburn. She's going to be organising it this year, but I don't know. It'd be worth reaching out to the Goulburn Forum and seeing
Okay.
what's happening.
Okay, I'll do that.
I
Excellent.
remember
See
I
where
played
you
there a
got
few
three
years ago
managers
with
right here.
Bullet. I played there a few years ago with Bullet.
Oh yeah, Bullet.
So
yeah.
He
might know.
would know as well, yeah.
Okay.
See, this is
Yeah.
what we love about being local. Everybody
Yeah.
knows who everyone is, and you're just like, yeah,
you just
go
have
check-
to like, as soon as you got one idea, you just put it out there, and it's like, oh, it's starting to happen.
Yeah,
And it's good to know that, that they're opening.
And I think they're going to have a festival fund opening up soon as well. So
Oh,
there might be
cool.
people who want to put on festivals, or you might
Yes.
collaborate with. So
Oh, that's good to know. Because
Yeah.
I was just talking with my friend Lauren, who this morning called me up and said, by the way, I'm your manager now. I was like,
Oh, that's how you get management.
and she was like, oh, like let's think about putting on some sort of show or festival or just something like here.
well, we know
Well,
we.
when you organise it, let us
I
know.
will.
and
Well,
we'll
you do have
shout
to
it
just
out,
nice
you
up the
know.
place, as Amber was saying, because we lost a lot of stuff. I mean, we gained the mental space and the time to take time to do things during lockdown, but we seem to have come out of lockdown and lost like venues and
Yeah.
things that we had. So we kind of just got to, like, you know, taking about the gardening metaphor, let them reseed, regrow, you know?
Yeah.
You know what we really need? This is a tangent, but what we really need in this area is a shebeen. Like we have lost. No, but really, we have lost all of our little local danceries. You know, the little hole in a wall almost, where you just nip in, you have a drink in a booth.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
solid,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
reliable.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going to happen.
Definitely.
And
So
then
you're outing yourself, Amber. You're like a shabeen.
I love shebeen. I can't deny it.
Yeah, there needs to be more places to go and have a little
Yeah,
dance.
it
Just to
doesn't fair, there really
let off
does.
But
steam.
yeah, I mean, it's coming back to what Amber's sort of saying as well. As an artist, do you feel that like you really are desperately in need of spaces to do your thing?
Yeah, 100%. It's a bit of a struggle. Yeah. It doesn't feel like there's multiple venues. Like it's sort of slim pickings. It feels like.
And for your game plan, I mean, have you got an idea of like how many gigs you want to do? And
Yeah, want to get like more. Now it's good that we've got a body of work out there, because I think that in the past was holding us back with a plan for festivals and stuff. Didn't really have
Yeah.
anything. So yeah, festivals and just gigging as much as possible. Big local show here, and also I want to do like music videos. So we've got the next 2 EPs ready lined up to go. I just need to
Okay.
get the money
Yeah.
together.
A woman with a plan.
Yeah,
That's good.
we've got them ready, rehearsed everything. I just need to find the pot
so, are
of
you
money.
doing everything yourself?
Yeah.
Like you're completely control of your
yeah.
artistic content and whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, respect to that.
That's what
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
like.
We love that.
Independent, but it's also
work.
It's work.
Yeah.
It's work.
But you know, I think in the end it's probably worth it. I'm gonna just play one track that Amber's chosen, one of her tracks, and then we'll come back to you. You ready? Oh, this is Mary J. Which one's that, Amber?
It's no more drama.
And why you choose it?
Because we don't want no more drama in our lives.
No more drama, girlfriend. No more drama.
That's right. Here we go again. Yeah. This is the remix. Back together again. Let's go, man. Yeah.
All the love we gave, the loving that we made, then you went away. So I had to pray to see a brighter day, 'cause I was led astray. Now I'm moving on to get away from all this pain. I feel so much better, yo. There's no more drama, knocking at my door. I feel no more than I felt before. 'Cause there's no more drama in my life, no more. No more, no more.
This is the remix. I like this. Come on.
It's looking better now. A brand new love I found. I finally figured out what love is all about. And now I'm on my way. And all I have to say is there'll be no more crying. And I truly believe that I feel so much better. 'Cause there's no more drama knocking at my door. I feel better. 'Cause there's no more drama in my life, no more.
12 years, it ain't easy. Been in them dames, got game, that's so greasy. Spinning them things with a chain, that's so freezy. Please believe me, TV need me. Far as the CD, pump that on GP. What's the 411, hun? It's PD, MJB, collabo with the BB. Period, no question, no comma. You're hearing this, no vest and no armor. Bring it to cats like Bush to Osama. Sipping on Voo, make moves with no scammer. Word to my mama, can't deal with the trauma. That's why niggas stay in the Bahamas, laying in pajamas. Two sexy mamas, bodyguards, top guns, two extra.
Okay, yes, I think there was a little bit of a problem there. Played the wrong track. Let's see. No more drama.
You got it, girl. You got it.
Let's go. Have we got it playing? Is it? Okay. I don't know what is going on here, but I'm typing in no more drama on this.
Buffering.
Are we buffering?
We're buffering for the track.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. So you know what I'm going to do? Whilst I try and fix this, because obviously I'm playing the wrong track twice, which I hope we're not really supposed to be doing, but I don't know why this is happening. So we're going to find the right version of No More Drama. But before we do that, I'm going to play another track. And this one's a Missy Elliott one that you chose.
Perfect.
We'll go with that while I sort out why it is I can't find the right track.
It's all right, girl.
We love Missy.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly. When the rain hits my window, I take it. Me some Indo, me and Timberland, ooh, we sang a jangle. We so tight that you get our styles tangled. Sway your do-si-do like you loco. Can we get wicked tonight like Coco? So, you wanna play with my yo-yo? I smoke my hydro on the D-Lo. I can't stand her. It's my window. 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 Beep beep. Who got the keys to the Jeep? Vroom. I'm driving to the beach. Top down, loud sound, see my piece. Give them pounds now. Look who it be. It be me, and Timothy. Look like it's about to rain, what a shame. I got the armor or the shine up the stain. Oh, Missy, try to maintain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. I feel the wind. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10. Begin. I sit on heels like Lauren until the rain starts coming down Lauren. Chill. I got my umbrella. My finger waves these days. They fall like Humpty. Chumpy. I break up with him before he dump. To have me, yes you love me, yes you love me. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. 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 I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain.
can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain.
I want to see if I can get this to play. No, it's the wrong one again. Do you know something? It's like it doesn't like me.
It's not having it.
Men
Well,
aren't
listen,
talking today.
When we're meant to hear the tune, we'll hear it.
Yeah,
You
we're
know
gonna
what I mean?
play it. We're gonna play it. Don't worry, it's
Let's
coming. It's
not
coming
force
on.
it.
It's coming on. It's coming on.
Let's force the issue.
It's coming on. It's just really weird how it's got no more drama. Somebody sing it.
If I knew it, I would. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Can't
happening.
help you there.
But yeah, let's come back to you. So yeah, you've got an idea about doing some gigs. When are you thinking of getting your? I mean, you mentioned getting the money together to do the EP. Is there one you want to shout out, or is there a way that you need some? You know, I don't know. Somebody want to fund your EPs
any rich people with money to spend.
philanthropists who love the sound of your music.
Support
I've just put
arts.
together an investment proposal, so hit me up. But otherwise, I was thinking my backup plan if I can't find a rich philanthropist, even though I'm sure there's some around here.
There are. Huh?
Well, there's
There's certainly
there's
some
many,
rich
many
philanthropists
rich
Just
around
need
there.
to, like,
yeah. Whether
get
they're
them-
philanthropists is the next thing, but
yeah. But people with disposable income just need a few thousand.
Right,
Because I self-funded all of this, obviously, but yeah, it's
we don't have a great. The state of art funding in this country is not
No.
fantastic. It really isn't. Isis and I were waxing lyrical about the days when you would have a patron. Do you remember we were talking about that the other day, where you'd have a family, a rich family, basically supporting your entire career, which allowed you to eat food, live somewhere, and make your art. We
Sounds
really do
good.
need to get back to those days.
maybe, yeah.
Come on, bring the rich
any
philanthropists.
patrons want to sponsor me, then yep.
Right? Oh, I could do with one of them myself, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's when we. Have I lost my volume? That's when we went to the V&A and thought about what it would be like
Looked
to
at all
live.
the stolen goods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the things they thief them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so of course, yes, we hope that you will be coming back to us soon
Yes.
with your next EP
Yeah.
and letting us know when you've got all your gigs lined
yes,
up.
I will.
I really hope that, we get to hear some more of your music.
Yeah.
I've got your thing now, your EP on my playlist, so I can
Yay.
play some of your tracks again.
That's cool.
And
You'll
of course,
recognise.
Will you remind me and the listeners what your name is?
Yeah,
and the
of
name
course.
Of your band and everything?
So my name's Alessana, and that's spelled Alessana.
Fab.
Yeah, and that's the name on Spotify and or Apple Music or any other streaming platforms.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
well,
Look
I
out
want
for
to
that.
thank you for coming in as ever. It's always good to see you.
Thank you for
And
having me.
We are hoping that we're going to go into no more drama.
Third time's the
Shall
charm.
we try and see if it works this time?
Look at face. That face.
Broken heart again, another lesson learned. Better know your friends, or else you will get burned. Gotta count on me, 'cause I can guarantee that I'll be fine. No more pain, no more pain, no more pain, no more pain, no more drama in my life. No one's gonna make me hurt again.
think this is International Women's Day and International Women's Month, and this is Portobello Radio being taken over by women. We got Faye on controls. We got my co-host,
Hello,
the
Joy.
wonderful Amber, and now in the studio we've got our art critic who's come in just to join the chat, Miss.
Right. Hello, Miss May.
Hello.
Not really. It's not May yet, is it? So, I have to say hello to everyone. To Faye, always. Isis, always. Amber, always. The late Janet the gardener, always.
Oh, we might have to bring Janet back, because they might
And the
have to
reason
be.
why I say
yeah,
that-
because you know what? Also, Joy's a gardener. Yes, we might have to
Great.
have like gardening, a bit more gardening going on. I mean, it is,
So the reason why I said always is that we're women 24/7, 365 days a year.
and 66 in the leap year.
And that's why I said always. In
Excellent.
celebration of women always.
So, do we feel like all of us don't want any more drama in our lives?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what about you, Faye, before we hand the mic out? No more drama?
Am I?
Yeah, there you are. There you are.
Hi everyone. I just fell asleep for a second. I just hear the word drama and I fall asleep. It just does that to me. I don't really.
That's
Yeah.
a good response to
I do
drama.
love watching drama though. It's entertaining. But in
Ah.
a theatre or like cinema or otherwise.
Might have to ask everybody about the bit of drama. What about you? You chose that track. No more drama. How's the drama going in your life?
Do you know what? I have little drama in my life, and I like
And you don't
it
want
just
none at
so.
all?
I don't want none,
None
at
at all,
all.
at
No,
all, at
I
all.
like it like that. Minimize the drama for sure, for sure.
And
Yeah.
Joy and Janet, drama?
I've had some drama. I don't appreciate it. Yeah, it takes too much energy. It's
Right.
just the energy you waste on the unnecessary drama just takes you away from living your life.
And that energy could go into gardening. What about you, Joy?
Right.
I agree with Janet, and I agree with Faye, and I agree with Amber. You don't want really any drama. You just want to be in a space where you can do your thing without any drama.
Indeed, indeed. So what have you been up to, Joy?
Well, I was looking, and funnily enough, in celebration of International Women's Day, I was looking at all the emojis that people send each other. And I think they're really interesting, and I wanted to touch on that because some of them are very much about in the suffragette vein, women's rights. Women still haven't got rights, equal rights, and women still have situations going on with their health globally.
We've still
Some
got
of
a lot
them
to fight for, yeah.
Still got to fight for their
Do you
rights.
know, just as a point of information, in 1970, I don't know why I'm talking, 1970 was the Equal Rights Act came out, and up until now, all these years later, we still don't get equal pay in so many
Yeah,
spaces.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Go back to you, Joy.
Right, so back to that, and I saw emojis with that. So I was really thinking about what my emoji is going to say when I send it to different people, and I sent several different ones to people. I think the first one I received was from you, and it said, it's a woman, black woman with an afro, and her afro is just like painted with words. It says woman,
That's the
black,
one I sent everyone.
proud,
Yeah.
you all seen it?
Melanin, fierce, strong woman, proud. One I sent was a quote from Ella Fitzgerald saying, and I thought I was interesting, it ain't where you came from, it's where you're going that counts. Thought that was quite interesting.
So you got all deep there. I mean, I was just going for the power throw, but you went
Right.
proper deep.
And then there were others that I looked at that had very stereotypical pictures of women holding a bunch of flowers and saying it's International Women's Day. Happy, happy, happy International Women's Day. And I was just looking at how powerful imagery is for women. It's a lot about how you convey yourself and what you send to people and the words that you say and how genuine that is or how day-to-day or superficial it is. I thought that was really important because we're thinking tomorrow's Sunday's Mothering Sunday, so we're hitting International Women's Day today, there's a break, and then there's a real commercial thing going on, which wasn't commercial, which is Mothering Sunday. Now everybody has mothers around.
But does everybody celebrate it though?
And does everybody celebrate?
I mean, you've still got a young one. Obviously, ours are adults. I don't know if you have.
I've got a 15-year-old. She's 16 in about a month.
So do you two both still celebrate those things?
I think the idea is that they celebrate us.
Yeah,
So
well, I
whether
suppose that. Yeah, you're right.
Right,
Actually,
there you go. Here we
absolutely
go.
right.
Here we go.
it just feels like more mothering work to me, really. I have to remind her, and she does get it together, but it's something that I have to do. So then,
I'm also kind of offended that the idea of a good Mothering Sunday is that
Or a good mother.
is that you don't have to maybe cook for the day.
do you know what I mean?
And you get a bunch of flowers and a box of chocolates.
You get a day
and
off
a
being a
small thing.
skivvy.
Yeah. So we're celebrating you by not making you work from dusk till dawn, and we're going to probably be really proud about it at the end of the day.
And how does that? Right. So how does that flip back to International Women's Day, as we're supposed to be free, feminists, womanists? I can't quite.
I know.
Like,
I think I know what you mean.
square that, you know.
I don't. When mine used to take me out to get something to eat, we used to always go up to this place there, Shaftesbury Avenue, actually, this vegan place. Then they got to a certain age, I said, listen, I've got to be honest with you, I don't like all this nonsense. So can we just knock it on the head once they got to like 13 or whatever, and so I don't do anything.
Well, there's something about it. I think we should be striving really for a world in which the notion of Women's Day just becomes ridiculous. Right, but we're not there, like you were saying, we're not paid equally, and you were saying there's still a lot to, we have to strive for. So apparently we still need it. But actually, the very idea that it's needed is quite offensive. It's like Black History Month, like you were saying, we're women every day, not just on this.
No,
one
we're
day,
only black for 1 month.
and we're black for 1 month apparently. Yeah.
Celebrating
Do
for 1 month.
you know what I mean? It's just, the idea is stupid, but here we are. So
And there's a
someone's
women's
making
minister.
money.
Most countries around the world, no matter how small or poor they are, have a minister for women.
Well, the default is they're for men, right? 'Cause the other ministers are for men, and that one minister is for women.
Basically.
Yeah.
So there is something to be looking at that. And in my school today, I was looking for images of women in doing different roles, which was quite
Besides cooking and cleaning.
besides cooking and cleaning, because you still have young children who say to you, "That's for girls. Girls don't do that, and boys do this." So there's a gender thing coming.
Interesting, and
into
you're
it.
working with very young ones, and they're still saying
they're
that.
still saying that.
I mean, do you think you've both got teenage offspring, as we were saying? Are they still thinking like that?
I think those notions are just consistently reinforced, aren't they? And girl is still an insult.
Yeah, that's true. Kick,
Do you know
kick
what I
like
mean?
a girl,
You
or
throw like a girl.
Yeah.
You do anything like a girl is an insult. So
Oh, I'm a mechanic, and
Good to hear from you. Go on.
and we've got loads of decoration stuff brought in. And they were like, "Oh, Faye, can you put up these decorations and stuff?" There's just me and the admin woman there. We're the only females. And it was really cute. Like, all the guys wanted to wear badges, and they were like, "Yeah, it's International Women's Day." A couple of people were like, "Oh, what about International Men's Day and stuff?" It's like, I actually
you
think
mean
there
every other
isn't.
day?
I think there is an International Men's
I
Day,
think there is.
but I don't think men actually care about it.
Oh,
I think it's. I actually don't think they even bother to remember it. So, what can we do? I mean, women actually have to celebrate International Women's Day because we want to.
Well,
I think I agree with you.
Or
I think
is it because every day is International Men's Day?
Well, exactly.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I think if we were to remove it, then they'd object. They'd be like,
What if we got rid of International Men's Day?
We're oppressed. But what about us?
No, I think my daughter, she doesn't restrict her notion of what she can do, but she's aware that other people may restrict on the basis of her gender. So and also I think there's a lot you have to deprogram. You can say as much as you like in the house and model as much as you like, but it's not women's work or men's work or whatever. It's just work, and we're all capable of doing it. Being a woman gardener, there's often times I've turned up and they're like, well, how are you going to lift the thing? Well, because I've got
With
strength
my
in
arms?
With my 2 arms and my 2 legs, right? And if I have to do 2 wheelbarrows instead of 1, then why? What's that? You know, okay, I can still do it. So yeah, it's a constant struggle, isn't it? Just to be free of the notions.
What about for you though, Joy? Because you've got 2 daughters and a son.
Yeah, so what I find interesting is what Janet just said and what Faye just said. And I'll tell you why, because it's this notion that it's all linked to strength, physical strength. So I remember once explaining to my son, do you remember when I used to carry you up from the ground floor to the top, to the 3rd floor? So what did that take? And he said, oh, you must be really strong, Mum. I said, yeah. I bloody well am. Right?
Yeah.
And then I used to get the other 2 up. So I was trying to say to him, notions are obviously men and women might be physically different, but the notions of strength, that they equate strength to being strong, to being male, that is an issue. It's a major issue. That it's invisible that you're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're finishing your day at 7 or 8 o'clock. That is then resilience. That's a different type of strength and mental strength. And that thing about going about deprogramming it, well, we all have to have that. Men, women, whoever you are, whatever gender you are out there in this world, you do carry some of that too. It's not just...
This is about redefining what we call strength because actually, I mean, being pregnant and walking around, especially in those 8 to 9 months, with that huge bump,
Not to mention
No
the
space
giving
for your
of birth.
ribcage.
giving birth,
Yeah,
I think that takes some strength.
yeah.
I think
Mental and physical strength.
also I think for men, a lot of the time, this is why I love being a woman. For men, strength is often equated with control of your emotions. Control meaning, in that instance, not feeling them, right?
Suppression.
Which, so, and that makes you a strong person that you can put your feelings to one side and ignore them. But I don't think that is very strong, honestly, because feelings are hard. So feeling them is an act of bravery.
I agree with
Agreed.
that.
Yeah.
I can totally agree with that.
I think, it's stronger actually to allow yourself your full range of humanity than to, cut off parts of yourself.
And
So
that cuts both ways, doesn't it?
yeah. So for me, the fact that we have that built into the nonsense that is sort of portrayed as womanhood, one of the blessings of that is that we do get to be emotional creatures. Thank God for that.
Yeah. That emotional release is really important. If I want to bawl my eyes out because I'm angry, I'm quite happy to do it. And my children have seen me do it. Oh, you're really angry, you're a bit frustrated, are you? Yes, I am.
But also, no one's
Leave
going
me
to come
alone
and
for a
say,
while.
Joy, you're not a real woman because you
You're not a real
cried like that. No one's ever gone, Amber, you're not a real woman because you did this or did that. Real woman, what a ridiculous notion. But real men, there's things you have to do and be to qualify as a man somehow. Oh, I'm so glad I'm a woman.
I know.
I'm so glad to be a woman. I really
Not
am.
sure how I would cope being a man, but
I know, that would be really
might be
strange.
tricky. But then again, it's for them to understand that. What was it? That book? Is it Women Are from Venus and Men Are from Mars? Well.
But I don't know.
Maybe we're just all from Earth, and then we're
exactly.
just
Right.
slightly different species.
So
all
there's a
created on
postcard.
Earth.
Literary, there's lots of literary things that reinforce certain stereotypes as well, without knowing it, right? They're interesting notions or ideas and quirky or something you think about, but I think about the realities, the day-to-day realities. You're a gardener. I'm a gardener in a garden up in Hammersmith, and it's really interesting. 90% of us must be women. And when you see a builder walk in and they see us with our wheelbarrows, they look so shocked.
Yeah.
But if you hear the word
What are you
gardener,
shocked
you think
about?
of a bloke in overalls, don't
Well, I
you?
think if you hear the word mechanic, you think of a bloke
Right,
in
there you
overalls
go.
as well,
Yes,
covered in
yeah.
grease. I mean, so it just shows you that we we can be anything that we want. And I want to get another track in because you chose a really gorgeous track by Lee Bianca.
Libianca, yeah.
And I really love that track. And I think we're talking about people, actually. Some are male people, some are female people, and some are in between people.
Some are just people, yeah.
Just people.
Just people. People being people.
From Bamandait, Libyanka. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Now did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Now did you notice me? Nobody will know the paranoia. Cause I put a smile on my face, a facade you can never face. And if you don't know me well, you won't see how buried I am inside my grave. Inside my grave. Cause you see people don't really know you. They don't really know you. Cause you see people, they don't really know you. They don't really know. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me? Oh, Holy Father, they drive over my head. I say make you no leave me deep. Oh, Holy Father, yeah. Oh, make you try to understand. Yeah, who can no death for you? Cause you see people don't really know you. They don't really know you. Cause you see people, they don't really know you. They don't really know. I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me? I've been drinking more alcohol for the past 5 days. Did you check on me? Or did you look for me? I walked in the room, eyes are red, and I don't smoke banga. Did you check on me? Did you check on me? Or did you notice me?
Yes, that is a beautiful song. If I Lee Bianca and People, I love it. But
That's
where's she
very
from?
good.
Because we thought something completely different.
Yeah, we thought she was Nigerian, but actually she's from Minnesota, of all places.
Yeah.
But originally from Cameroon, apparently. So yeah, there you go.
Because I was thinking like proper straight from the continent, you
Right.
know. But anyway,
But she's got a lovely sound and a lovely voice.
She really does,
I
and-
hope to hear more from her.
so we got about 50, I think exactly 20 minutes left before we wrap up this show because we started a little bit late. And I just wanted to just quickly ask all of you, really. So we're in 2024. We're talking about being women, International Women's Day, International Women's Month. I mean, where are we going in terms of women? We know there's a lot of talk about sort of like transhumanism and all the sort of, the technology out there and how people are changing. Are we, as women, has our roles really changed? And are they changing? I mean, do we think for our daughter, and my daughters and Joy's daughters are already sort of like approaching, one is 30 and Joy's in the early 30s, so they're slightly older, but like with teenage daughters, and even you, Faye, being still in your early 20s. Are you still in the early 20s? You're not mid-20s yet, are you? You're getting there.
You're asking them questions.
She's getting there. Faye's getting on. Yeah, what's happening? I mean, where are we going to?
Well,
are we talking about just England? Because globally, we're
just women.
I mean, there's still 70% of the world has no internet. Before we think that we
Right,
can make a
yeah.
decision about where we're heading,
Yeah, true.
you know, we're very
Is
much
it 70%?
70%.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I thought you'd say like 30
No,
or something, but
you think, you know, it's like an area of research. No, I happened to read it this morning.
Right.
So I know it's like 70% of the global population have no access to the internet.
that's mad.
And we're living our lives on it.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got a perception of the world that isn't necessarily true.
I
And
mean,
I think
we're
there's still a lot of women trapped in, I say trapped, it's a bit of a judgmental term, but when you haven't got child care issues or provision, when you're constantly in pregnancy and child rearing, it does restrict your ability to work outside. It's just
Yeah.
exhausting and time consuming. You
Well,
spend
that-
your whole life doing that, don't you? And I think that's a very common experience around the world. And it's a product of our biology, but it needn't be a restriction. It's just
well, I was going to say,
gone
to
that way.
the way you phrased the question, like, where, you know, how's it changed? Well, I think if you are working within what we know of the world, you know, if you are working professionally, if you're at, you know, at the cutting edge of business or technology, I'm sure it's changed. I'm sure it's changed quite a lot, being a woman, say, now from 50 years ago. But if you are, like you're saying, if you are raising babies, ain't a damn thing changed. Yeah, you're still essentially staff, yeah? You will not be thanked for any of it. You will probably be put on a pedestal that does you no good at all, but allows people to go, oh, while giving you no support whatsoever. So, you know, depending on where you are in your life and obviously on the planet and socio-economically, but I think, yeah, as mum, it is what it is. It's a thankless bloody task. Hopefully they'll grow up and thank you, but, you know, I won't hold my breath.
I was going to say, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
I do think it's so important for women to support each other though, because I'm not a mother
Always.
yet, but in my work environment, the fact that the admin lady is there is such a huge support. Anytime I'm at that location, it's like, yes, she's there. Like, we just have a banter, there's a connection. We're the women.
Yeah.
We are here. Like, we look out for each other, we make sure each other's okay. And I think it's super important generally in life. I think men have like a innate network of like how they communicate. This kind of communication will have this kind of result, and they all know that, and that's how they go by. And they have a patriarchy that the patriarchy is. You'd think like, oh, in a patriarchal society, none of the men are like friends. They just run the world together somehow. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like women's connections between women, like mutual respect. You know,
Yes.
because the drama thing it's like so, it's almost like not innate to women, but I find women can be very dramatic or produce much drama with how they communicate with each other, maybe at an immature stage.
I don't know though, but I think that's gendered, if I'm honest. I think drama is just a human feature. We just get bored and we create commerce, as they call it. Yeah. Commerce is a Trinidadian word for drama, yeah. But yeah, and I think that's something that's throughout the ages. That's another reason why I love being a woman, is that we do look out for each other and we create a network and a safety. Like, I guess as the people who raise the babies, for the most part, we have to have that safety net. So we...
Okay.
Go on, Joe. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I think Faye's hit on something, and I'm going to be quite radical and say,
Go on.
if we got on better as women, we were more allies. Because there are lots of, I'm going to hit back at the politicians again, and I hope they're all listening. Some of them.
Of course, it's Portobello Radio on a Friday.
Some
Where
of
else would
them
they be?
Or their cronies will be listening. There's a lot of women in this country who are ministers. And they know that a lot of women in this country and in Europe do a lot of work that should be better paid. And I wonder, if you're such allies to women and you got your role as a MP on your merits, but you're also a woman. Why aren't you doing more for the women in this country, up and down this country, who are doing thankless, soulless jobs day in, day out, and they should be paid better? So it makes me think about you as a politician. What are you doing? Who are you adhering to when you go to those meetings and they say, well, maybe that job should be more remunerated, and you've got a bunch of men in the meeting saying, no, 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 if we do that, the economy will tank. So that's one thing. The other thing is, well, I think the parliaments of the so-called civilized worlds would be better run if they were 70% women. I think that'd be an interesting notion.
Well, I think that we've tried it the other way now. We've given it a good run with the men, haven't we? So, you know, it might be time to just give it
I think we should have a takeover. I'd love to see a takeover day. We'll just run it for a week, and we'll see how.
But actually, I think coming back,
years,
but the research that Janet mentioned, the 70% of the world that doesn't have internet, but also, whenever there is any research done about women leaders in running countries, they seem to run better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like Margaret Thatcher, because
yeah,
there
but
are the
she's
women
always held up as an example of why not.
Exactly, but there are women who emulate men. But I'm talking about women who actually embrace their being women, basically, and do their thing.
It's interesting that a few years ago when we had Theresa May, and her method of showing that she was powerful and that she could do the job was to kind of become almost a bit brutal. Like, she was talking about the nuclear, whether she was willing to push the button, and her way of showing that I can do this, I'm as good as the man was go, yeah, I'd push the button, I'd nuke everybody. What?
Right.
What? Why would you? What?
Oh, well,
No.
that's all right then.
Yeah, so,
Right,
okay, you're qualified.
So the notions of power.
But that's
Right.
also the
Strength.
idea about what
And how
leadership
we-
is. Because I was just
Leadership
doing
and
some
power.
training, running workshops with women through a local organisation. I've got the last one coming this Wednesday. It's like women's empowerment and leadership. And one of the things we did was look at what leadership is. And actually many of the principles that are attributed to women are actually better qualities or to be a leader. Things like empathy and compassion actually are really important in leadership.
And communication. We're great at communication.
Actually two-way communication, because often, hey, we've got another woman in the house. How you doing, Penny?
Penny.
We're all good. Have you noticed? There's no men here. Happy International Women's Day. Yeah, different styles. I mean, I know that, like, for example, Jeremy Corbyn was really badly criticised for not using the whip and being a strong leader. And I thought, well, isn't leadership about letting people come to you rather than dragging them, kicking and screaming?
Well, that's it. Well, he was in the same debate. He was considered weak, wasn't he, for saying that he would do everything in his power not to nuke people.
Not to annihilate the
Right.
the globe, yeah.
Like, and this was weak. And funnily enough, again, coming back to the gardening, he was like had the Mickey taken out of him, didn't he? Quite significantly.
Yes.
For having an allotment.
And making jam.
For making jam.
I know. I mean, again.
Oh.
Like this.
I mean, like, making jam is such a bad thing.
Right? It's like the grown-up version of, you're a girl. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if
Come the revolution, it'll be the people that can grow their own food.
And the
that
people
will
with the
survive.
jam, who've made the
people
jam,
with
they're
the
gonna
jam.
survive. Yeah.
And you know why that's so important? Because I tried to make jam once. It's not easy. It came out like a boiled sweet. Jam, it's a science.
Yes, it is.
So making it out that it's soft power, it's not a soft thing to do, to be a chemist.
No.
To learn to do so, to use your brain in a different way to get a certain result that could make the difference between people living and dying.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because
it.
food stuff is about that.
Come the
Just-
zombie apocalypse, mate. You're looking for jars of jam. Jars of jam.
Innit?
Trust me.
But yeah, just the power of putting a seed in some soil and making food, making life.
it's
like
really
that is
important.
just, that's extraordinary.
Although it's
Superhero
celebrated
business.
if you obviously have to go and get your cow and gate jars and feed your picnic. Very, that's a big deal. You are a major corporation. You're making a shitload of money, and that is celebrated. Both of them should be celebrated, especially when I know that you never invented that idea of putting the food in the jar in the first place. Women did.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, again, that's really interesting. That the jam jar situation and growing. I mean, people. In fact, men who display any kind of connection with nature are often vilified or ridiculed. Ridiculed. That's it. Yeah. So it's interesting that. Again, that's being put into a woman's, like boxing women in. Oh yeah, we talk to plants, we grow plants, we respect nature. But if you're a man and you do it, then there's something wrong with you.
I think it's boxing men as well.
Yeah, of course, you're right, exactly, yeah.
Them from those things.
I was so surprised to see how enthusiastic they were about International Women's Day. Like, I didn't really, like, it's not that I don't care, but it's that I don't really pay attention to things like International Women's Day or Black History Month or blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm black, I'm a woman, this is me every day. Thank you for noticing, but okay, that's your thing kind of thing. But I was like, oh, that's so sweet. They were no, we've got the decorations, put them up.
Right, it's women's work. It's women's work. Yeah.
But look, I want to play because we've got about 6 minutes left, and I'm going to do a quick. I'm going to be Gregsy and do a quick wagwan. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to get onto the Portobello Radio website quickly as well. But let's just play a track. It's a short one that you chose by Chloe and Hallie. So that's her sister as well, and it's called Do It. Let's go. Let's do it. We're back. Yes. So I'm going to do a quick wagwan because we always do this on Portobello Radio. Normally it's Greg's and he does it really quickly, but I don't think I can do it as quickly as him. But so what have I got here? We've got tonight. We've got Hourglass, the suffragette story, and that's happening at the. It's happening here at 7:00 at the Muse Gallery, 269 Portobello Road, 7 till 10, and it's Muse Theatre. The lovely Penny came waltzing in earlier. And please get on down. You can see it tonight. I don't know where you get tickets. Do you buy tickets in here?
Eventbrite, or you can turn up at the door and pay.
And you always get a.
Women, and it's to tell the story about the suffragettes, which a friend of mine has written. And I'm not directing this. I'm actually in this one as an actor. Woo! Hallelujah!
Thank you. So get it on Eventbrite or get down here and enjoy it. And of course, we've also got an excellent exhibition that just started yesterday, I believe. It's called Trip the Light, featuring a bunch of women and Damien. We got one man in it, Damien. But you know, Damien, he's a chill guy, so still. And we will be having some of these artists come on and talk about the show. We've got Anne Churchill, Coral Churchill, Farron Gold, Gosha. How do you pronounce her surname? Malawaska, and Caroline Mackenzie, and of course Damien Rain. So we will be having a fantastic show down here. And then now I'm going to do the Portobello Radio rundown. So this show is repeated tomorrow at 12. It's the Portobello Radio Show, 12 till 2, and then followed by at 2:00 Mick Robinson. That's 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4 we've got Charlie Forbes. I think he's known as he's got another name, Charlie Forbes Show or something. No. No? Okay, got that wrong. Medicine Man, that's it. Charlie Forbes, the Medicine Man. And then we've got at 4 to 5, I need glasses. We've got our very own Jax doing a jazz funk section, so enjoy that. And of course, Mr. Chris Sullivan will be on at 5 till 6. And then followed by DJ Minna at 6 till 7. And then 7 till 8, we've got Jez Harkin with The Brilliant, The Brilliant Show. Yeah, because the show's brilliant. So I hope I went through that quickly enough, because we've got about 2 minutes left. And just a big shout out to that. Of course, Ilaria and I have our regular sessions, words on our clothes, creative clothes, upcycling workshops at the Methodist Church, Monday 6 to 8. It's free. Come along, bring your old stuff, recycle, upcycle, embellish, make it better. And you can make dolls as well if you want. So, and tonight at the Night of Notting Hill, we mentioned it earlier, we've sent one of our wonderful talented artists down to check out doing some gigs down there. We've got PJ the DJ doing his thing from what time? 8 o'clock. So that's the rundown, really, for Portobello Radio. And, of course, we are coming to the end. We've got, like, a minute left. So I want to thank the controller, our wonderful Faye. Big shout-out. Whoop, whoop. We've got the wonderful woman gardener extraordinaire, Janet, who has just shared so much with us today. We've got our one and only arts critic, Ms. Joy May. And, of course, my gorgeous, fabulous co-host, who I wish was here more often, Amber Joy. So, yes, this has been an International Day Women's Special during International Women's Month on Portobello Radio. We'll be back next week, and we'll still be featuring a lot of women, so stay tuned. And you can catch me tomorrow, 4 till 6 on Faferity Radio as the Eclectic Goddess, when I'll be celebrating women. Peace out, people.